Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Cal the Warband here, and today I'm bringing you a kind of unique 1v1 battle. I was approached by another YouTuber named SHADOWONLINE Gaming, and if you haven't checked out his channel, please go ahead and check it out. He actually did approach me, and he is doing a series where he's actually challenging different YouTubers to battles in Total War Warhammer. So some are, one battle, and some are best of 3, and some best of 5. So I did accept his challenge, and as you guys know from my channel, Warhammer is not my strongest game. I'd say I probably win about 20% of the battles that I do play, but I did give it a go, and we're going to go over the army comps and take a look at it before we get this battle started. So, as you can see, I actually am playing as the Dwarves. When I do get wins, most often it is with the Dwarves. I find that I am able to use them quite effectively, and in the underway stance, it's a perfect situation for a 1v1. So, I'll take a look at my army here. So in the front lines, I've got 3 units of Thunderers. So good missile, and I believe they're anti-large as well. And then I have 3 units of cannon. So I've got 1 on either flank, and then 1 in the center. And then on the flanks as well, I've got 2 units of Dwarf Warriors with great weapons. And then I have 6 units of Longbeards. Pretty standard infantry that I usually bring, and then I've got 3 units of Dwarf Warriors, and these guys, people really underestimate the Dwarf Warriors. They are really dirt cheap, and if you put a couple of chevrons on, just like you can see, I've got 2 chevrons on this dwarven unit, their morale actually can hold for quite a bit of time, so they're definitely really sturdy if you have a bit of extra cash. And then I've got Belegar Ironhammer, my classic Clan chief that I always bring. So yeah, from the Warhammer guys, from the Warhammer battles that you guys have seen, this is a pretty standard setup for me. And looking at Shadow's army, so he's got a ton of these Night Goblins in the front. Looks like 7 units. Yeah, it looks about. Then he's got 5 units of the Night Goblin Archers. And he's got a Night Goblin Shaman, and then way back here is the Night Goblin War Boss. And what I did not know about the Crooked Moon, because I actually have never fought them before until now, apparently their entire army, or at least the units that he brought, can Vanguard deploy. So I'm about in the middle of my zone, so I figured it would give time for the cannons to just rip apart his infantry. But I did not know that they could Vanguard deploy so close. And unfortunately, what I also didn't notice is that there was room to Vanguard deploy behind. So that's not going to be good for me. So he's got 6 units of Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. So right away, you guys can kind of see how this battle's going to go. Pretty much my cannons and my thunders are not going to be as effective as I would like. But let's get this battle started anyways. So you can see that the Night Goblins are charging forwards immediately. I've got my cannons going, and my Thunderers should be unleashing in a couple of seconds here. And we've got the Shaman sending out some disruption. There we go. Thunderers firing. And you can see I'm moving forward my Longbeards right away to take on the Night Goblins. Nice. So as it stands in this battle, Night Goblins, even though they did Vanguard deploy, and this did take me off guard, I was feeling pretty confident because Night Goblins, they're garbage. Like, they're really low armor, and I'm pretty sure they're very cheap. But the problem is that Shadow had another trick up his sleeve. He had all of these Squig Riders that are able to outflank the Dwarves. And this was a really huge shock for me. And you can see that he just catches all of my Thunders by surprise, pretty much just shredding them, and then moving on into the backs of my infantry. So really at this point, I kind of was like, oh well, that's not going to go good for us. So my dwarves, unfortunately, now they're penned between the night goblins and the squig hoppers. And this is when their morale starts to break. If there is any way to get rid of dwarves easily, you need to outflank them. And that's why I was pretty confident in the underway that I would be safe from that. But so good play to Shadow on that. Because even when I play most land battles, I find that the Vanguard deployment option does not allow for you to get behind enemy lines. The border of the end zone and the border of the deployment zone for the enemies pretty much just match up. So I had no idea that he was going to be able to pull a stunt like that. But very, very clever. And as you guys can tell from the name of this battle, I did actually save this replay as something like a sneaky attack or something like that. But I'll give it to my dwarves. They took down as many as we lost. So Shadow, I believe he had over 2,000 and I had just under 1,300. So the losses were about 1,000 for both sides. As you can see, yes, I got 1,300 to 2,100. And we managed to cut down 1,000 of them before we all broke. Where's Belegar? Oh, he's sitting over here. He's fighting some goblins. Look, he's got arrows in his back. That is awesome. Fight on, Belegar, fight on. Look, he's got an arrow between each of his shoulder blades, and he's got one in his side. Oh man, poor guy. Yeah, so pretty much wiped me out. Like I said, managed to kill about 1,000 of them, but with the arrow support and the squig hoppers in behind, they were pretty much able to get a victory. All of his night goblins were pretty much wiped out, but... So let's take a look at the replay results here. So good game to SHADOWONLINE Gaming. So it's 1-0 for him. We are doing a best out of 3. So you can see, again, my Dwarf Warriors, 46 and 30. That's really not bad for how cheap that they are. And the Dwarf Warriors with great weapons. I was expecting the Crooked Moon to bring more monsters, and I thought that they would be a perfect flanking force. But my Longbeards, you know, doing pretty well. They shreked a lot of the Night Goblins, but this one getting 115, so that's great. But pretty much all of this was wasted because of the Vanguard deployment. So I feel if I had had time to be able to fire down on him with this, the story would have been a little bit different. But looking at his army, yeah, even the Night Goblins getting decent kills because they're also pretty cheap. So, and the archers pretty much had free reign to pick apart, and the Shadow Squig Riders obviously just wrecking all of my my dwarven units. But yeah, so that's the first battle. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, guys, if you'd like to see more Warhammer content in the future on my channel. Be sure to check out SHADOWONLINE Gaming's channel. He does a lot of Warhammer content and some other videos as well. And yeah, be prepared for part 2 coming up next.